Hello, beautiful, divine, awakening souls. I am Joanne Antoun, founder of CTC, the 2-hour life transforming combined therapy cocktail, and the International Institute of Combined Therapy Cocktail. I am here today with the gorgeous Fiona Djapouras, a fellow CTC therapist and an all-round amazing woman who is incredibly passionate about empowering and motivating all people of all ages to let go of their past, their limiting beliefs, their limiting perceptions, and also as to stand fully in their power. Hello, beautiful Fiona. How are you today?
Hello, Jo. I'm wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited for this conversation, especially during this time of incredible change and awakening. So Fiona and I are here today to talk about all things change, why change is necessary, how to embrace change, how to go through change with ease. So she is a master of change herself. Fiona, you've had some huge changes within the past few years yourself, especially with your career changes, you're venturing from corporate world into coaching, therapy, etc. Yes. I would love for you to share with us a little bit about your journey. What inspires you to do what you do?
Thanks, Jo. The journey's been interesting, and what I look back at today when I see where I am and where I've come from is I was given signs to move and to change, and until I really felt that the pain of staying the way I was worse than the pain of change. And then I probably needed a little kick as well at the same time. And once I started to relax into that space and realize that we are people that are going through change and that change is always part of our life, it didn't feel quite so scary. I would be fine. Then I could relax and enjoy the journey that was part of life. And they're the sort of experiences I see day in, day out. And when I'm not attached to the outcome of where I think I should be, but I'm actually attached to what's right for me right now, you know, that move in mindset has been enormous.
Yeah. And I really, I'm grateful that you brought in mindset, because mindset is everything, right? We are meaning making machines. And the only thing that really stresses us is the meaning we apply to the thing that we're seeing. So what are some of the things that you would say to yourself to help you personally navigate change? And what are the things that you tell your clients to say to themselves, you know, so as to navigate their change or how they see things?
There's a few things that I would do. So I often get clients, especially at the beginning of a program, where they'll come in and everything feels overwhelming. It feels stressful. They can't understand why they are. Why does it happen to me? And it's take a breath. We're okay, and when we're in the moment. But it's always about, what is your vision? Where are you going? Where are you making your decisions? So most people make decisions from a fear point of view. They make a decision to move away from a situation. If you make a decision to move towards something, immediately there's a change in energy in the conversation within yourself. It's taking power back, standing firm, feeling like it's within your control. Even things such as someone saying mean words about you, to you, behind your back. When you realize it's actually about them and not you, that only has weight if it's said and you take it on.
Yes.
So they're the sort of things I would talk to my clients about. Where did you make that decision? What's your passion? Where are you going? And actually own the life you've got, own the space that you're in. And it's okay for you not to know where you're going directly, but what feelings do you want to experience in the next year? How do you want to see your life? Like, what do you want to wake up every day? It's just about that reset and that space where you step in on your own steam. You're not pushed, you're not shoved, you're not running away. You're taking that big, powerful step forward.
Yeah, I really love that. So you're choosing the next best feeling or the next best step, which keeps everything very simple rather than, big and it's, oh my God, it's too big. I can't get there. I'm never going to get there. And so you're moving, as you mentioned, towards something rather than focusing on the fear and trying to move away from that.
Yeah.
The very thing that you don't like sitting in, so to speak.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely fantastic. And tell me about some of the client successes that you've had. So people have come in with these fears. How have you navigated them through that? So we've talked about the mindset shifts, seeing things differently. How else, what other tools do you use?
So I always start with a CTC because we come with layers of beliefs that don't help us, and that clears the crap. It just puts you back to that space. And then what I find is clients then often need some support to make that step forward because they're so used to having that negative limiting story that they go, well, how do I do this? What do I take forward? So then we look at goals and what's your vision and what's your space. But the key is understanding the person who you are right here, right now. Who are you in this world? Who do you show up as? What drives you? What are your decisions? What's your passion? And it's funny, I was talking to a client the other day, and I want to be in this career space. But what you realize is that career space is not the only answer. You can still be doing the same thing, not necessarily in the career space. There's journeys, there's stepping stones. So we look at that as a whole. What does this deliver for you? So we break it down, and week by week, we build on, clear the crap, and build on this future so it becomes undesirable. It becomes desirable. It's this pull forward. Yeah. And then what we just keep recentering. It becomes muscle. You actually get used to it. We do things like writing our letter to ourselves. What does our life look like when we're grateful now? We have affirmations. We have our vision board. We have our self-care practice. We have everything that daily, it's building that muscle to look after yourself because, it's the metaphor of fix your own mask before working for others. A lot of my clients are busy women that have got children and they're trying to do multiple things at once, and we're always the last person that we look after. But actually, the happier we are, the happier they are. So it builds in that way, and suddenly these people don't realize that the transformation they've gone through until someone else points out there's something different about you. How did this happen?
Yeah.
And they go, oh, it's been just slowly. So it really is reinforcing for them all the time.
Yeah, beautiful. So I see that myself too. A lot of people, because a lot of the work that we do is at a deep subconscious level, it's reprogramming, right? So what happens is you just go about doing you, and then somebody else says, the old you would have responded like that, or the old you used to do that. And oh my goodness, you're so different. What are you on?
Yes, I want some of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so tell me, obviously you've got processes, you've got tools, you've got lots of different things that you do. Have you found that one of the best ways to motivate people is to give them a big enough why, or have them discover their big why? Because I know for me personally, no one lacks motivation, but when you have a big enough why, you can make anything happen. You make the impossible happen, especially mums.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like procrastination is not really the issue. It's you're just not compelled enough. So, and maybe you don't feel authentic in the space you're in, or maybe you don't feel like you understand what you're doing and the reasons why behind it. But we'll do anything. Like, students, you'll say, actually, academically, they're not trying. But what do they do on the sports field? Oh, man, they're rocking it because it's important to them and they understand and they feel alive. And that's how we are in life. Let's embrace that. So my aim is for people to live their life on purpose. So to live this very precious gift that we've been given deliberately every day and enjoy it in that way. But when you feel like you're in your genius space, then suddenly everything is yours. Abundance, good relationships, clarity, exercise, that perfect body that you're after. Everything like that just becomes the way it is.
Yeah. And it also feels a lot more achievable, right? Because now you're feeling better about everything. You're inspired. And when you're inspired, you calibrate to something much higher than you used to be at.
Absolutely. Yeah. You become consciously aware of what you're doing. And you might not be competent in the beginning, but you'll then become consciously competent about it. And then unconsciously competent, where you're just doing it every day. And people see that. That's the best way you can be. When you're shining so brightly, that's what people want. They don't know why, but that's the life then you're going, oh, and things don't matter to you in the same way. Something happens, you go, what does this mean for me? Well, what do I take from this? But it's not fear and terror. It's curiosity. It's, well, what is that? What do I do with that now? How does that change what I'm thinking?
Yeah, and I really love that. So I'm often saying to people that, the quality of the answers that we get is very much dependent on the quality of the question.
Yes.
And when we learn to ask really good questions, then the answers that come through are generally answers about the guidance, the next best step, how to take the next best step, what that next best step is, all of that stuff.
Beautiful.
So what are some of the questions that we could ask? Because, the default, it would be for many people is like, oh shit, it's happened again. This always happens to me, etc. So what is it that, and we come into these calls completely unprepared, right? This is what I love. It's conversational. We bounce off each other. What is it that we could ask in that moment where something, there's a hurdle or a challenge that appears? What is it we could ask that would help us gain or receive a really high quality answer so we could take a next best step with ease? What comes to mind for you?
What's my next best step?
Yeah.
What do I learn in this moment?
Yeah.
Uh,
Is there another way to see this?
Yes.
Rather than the way I'm looking at it now, right? So the way I'm looking at it now could be overwhelming, but I'm always saying to my students, hand on heart, right?
Yeah.
Is there another way to see this? What could this be teaching me? What is the lesson here? What is the blessing here? There's so many things. How many questions would you actually recommend people have? Like if we were to narrow it down to just a few questions, do you think, where are you at? What comes to mind for you? 3?
Well, I think 3 is a good number that you can actually take forward because it's easy, it's simple, and it helps you. And the big thing about, you can feel overwhelmed, but how do you get out of it? What do you do? How do you move quickly so that you are no longer feeling that, and like we might have that moment. So how do we move? And that becomes the critical change. That's the critical change in mindset. So I would say 3 questions is a really good approach that you've just got in your pocket.
Yeah. Okay. So is there another way to see this? What do I need to learn from this experience? And what is my next best step? Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever resonates. I would always go with, in this moment, what am I like, why, the other thing I would do is everything happens for a reason. And I would go, what is this trigger? Yeah. So there might be maybe this for what is this trigger that's there for me now? But so you understand why, you feel irrational over someone said they didn't offer you a coffee, or like it could be something small and you go, why am I really triggered by this? Yeah. And then it's, what's the lesson in this for me? So it becomes actually curious rather than why me? It's not why me. It's
rather than the victim.
What's the lesson in this for me? What am I learning here? And then what's the next best step?
Yeah, beautiful. And this is a really good point too, because the why keeps us trapped in that victim mode, right? And we know that if we're triggered by something, then generally if we were to go down that rabbit hole, we would find that we would land in a subconscious program. So this is where I'll say to my students, when have I felt this before? Hand on heart, you would ask, when have I felt this before? What other times have I felt this? When was the very first time I felt this? And then you'll find yourself venturing back into your childhood somewhere, because this is where all of our subconscious programs stem from. Another thing that I use to get people out of overwhelm is, because we tend to, as humans, we're emotionally attached to our drama and our stories. So we think it's huge, right? But then if we ask, and we do this in training, what specifically, who specifically, how specifically questions, then what we're doing is we're pulling ourselves out of everything being so big, bad and ugly into, oh, really the only issue I have here is this.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Once we realize it's only this, then we know that it's, simple problem, simple solution.
Yeah, I try to, even with the kids now and then, it's like, actually, what story are you telling yourself?
Yeah.
That's another good question. It's like, and that's trying to uncover that, but what's the story, behind what you see? And then from that, you breaks it down. The story might be that I felt like they ignored me because of this, and actually they ignored you because they were talking about their own sadness. had nothing to do with you. And that's where, when you don't really know, the mind likes to make up a story. It likes to feel certainty. It likes to have that story to attach to, even if the story is wrong.
Yes, and it likes to win every time.
It does.
It will go into battle to win.
It'll play dirty.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, and this is the thing, you know, we are not our stories. You know, you've heard me say this a lot in our trainings, you know, we are not our family, we are not our lineage, we are not their stories, and we are also not our stories. So if we're not our stories, then we need to learn to master the art of peeling through those layers to get down to what's really going on for me. Yeah. And when I understand what's really going on for me, then I can choose to see things very differently. I can heal that deep wound that I've been carrying, which has therefore created these recurring patterns in my life. And in healing that, I'm literally changing my future, because it is impossible to change one thing and not have everything else change. In fact, we change the entire universe with that one thing that we change within ourselves.
Yes, it's incremental, isn't it? But and I even say to a lot of my clients, one person at a time, because the ripple effect is enormous. It just keeps going on, and you touch people's lives. And the big thing is, when you start this journey, you don't realize the lives you touch.
Yeah,
it happens, and people will come back to you years later and go, oh, you know, I saw this happen. I had a lady at one of my previous roles, and she said to me when I was leaving, she said, I don't know what it was about you, but the energy you brought, I just wanted to be around it.
That's so lovely.
Oh my gosh, you know, I didn't realize the impact, but it was enough to make people feel like, that's different, I want a bit of that. That's all you can do.
Absolutely. And this is the thing, our ripple effect is enormous. We'll never know how big it is, but it is enormous.
It happens.
Absolutely. For every single client that is changed, they behave differently within their own families, and they create change within their family unit, and they create change within their friends, and it just grows from there.
Yeah.
It's lovely, because especially during this time of incredible change on the planet, we know that we don't need to wake up everybody. We know that we don't need everybody to change. We just need enough people who are strong enough, willing enough, and brave enough to make the necessary changes in their life, which gets us to that tipping point, which then raises the consciousness of the collective, which is really beautiful. I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. And I feel like I'm part of that journey. I feel like it's just, together we can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so tell me, if you could leave our listeners, and we're not going to end our call just yet because I have some more questions for you, but if we could leave our listeners with a really profound message that will get them thinking a little bit differently, what would you share? What comes through you right now with regards to that? It's
possible. Have some hope. You find the right people that support you. The 5 people around you are the people that you are with. So are they the right people around you? This is one life, one sort of opportunity to do it, and it's never too late. Start today. Just do something different.
Okay. So what would they do that's different?
Look around. Take a moment. Are they maybe create understand some of the decisions you're making? What's driving that decision? Are you going towards a vision, towards lots of children, you might notice they'll I'm not going to go to that because I'm scared to go. So they're obviously making a decision based on fear. And then you might have a child that goes, oh my gosh, I'm loving this instrument, I want to try out with the band. That's a decision made on passion and love, and they're going forward. And what decisions are you making every day? What space are you existing in? Do you feel like every day is the same, or are you able to make new paths forward? And do you have the right people in your team, in your village? Yeah.
So it sounds like being present is really important then, because you need to be present enough to understand what's going on in your own mind, present enough to realize you are making a choice right now. That you're right. So what's some tools that you would recommend, or what do you personally do to be present?
When I need to be present, because sometimes, we can all get overwhelmed by things that go on. I come back to, where am I? Who am I being at this moment? Have I looked after myself? Have I done my self-care, my meditation, do I need to get away and just sort of shake the day away? to take the day off. But I have my letter to the universe that I read. I have my vision for where I am. I reflect on what I've done and has it been in alignment with who I am and who I show up as. All those sort of things, I come back to center. I come back to who I am in my most authentic self. Yeah. And if everyone has just a few, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. Like what works for me may not work for other people, but some people have their vision board on their phone. They have a certain music. Is there something? Some people like to dance. Like if I'm feeling like I can't, I'll go and do a dance because it shakes me up. It gets the energy out. It bops up. It reconnects me. Music's so powerful. Do some exercise. Any of those things to help me to come back into present time. And in that present time, I understand that where I am is where I'm meant to be. That's a big thing too. So no matter how overwhelming and how much it feels in present time, well, you know what? Then I go back to my questions.
Yeah.
What's this trigger? What am I learning here? What's the next best step for me?
Yeah, lovely. So you can see all the way through this conversation, this is, I think, really important that our listeners understand this, that it all comes down to, first and foremost, being in the present moment, recognizing that you are the one making a choice, and then choosing to ask the right questions that are going to help you to take a step into the next best feeling and, you know, the step that's more in alignment with the greatest version of yourself, rather than choosing to stay stuck and be the victim of a feeling and experience that you are choosing anyway. So it's all choice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And doesn't it feel better to be the latter?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So all power to the people.
Yeah. Yeah. The choice is theirs.
Absolutely. We all have the power of choice. And no matter where you are at, no matter what is going on in your life right now, in each and every moment, you always get to choose, because you get to see things in any way that you want. I think it's really important that people remember that. We can choose a myriad of emotions. We can have anger, sadness, fear, angst, love, hate, all of it, or we can choose peace, as though peace is all there is. And we can choose to stand tall and strong in our power at all times. So Fiona is based in Kogarah, New South Wales. She does see clients in person and is also available globally via Zoom. And I think, Fiona, most of your clients are global, yeah? Like via Zoom, you see a lot of people?
All time zones. Happy the video is a perfect medium to have the same sort of value in the session.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I find that, and I actually recommend, I have most of my clients, 99% of my clients are all via Zoom. I've been seeing people globally for, you know, many, many years now, since before Zoom, back in when Skype first came out. But for myself personally, I do tend to recommend Zoom to everybody, because you don't have to then get yourself together after having such a big process. Get yourself together and drive home or drive anywhere. You get to stay at home, have a cup of tea, relax, process, be in the space, bathe in the energies, and allow everything to really land for you. So Zoom is definitely my recommendation. All of our CTC therapists are available via Zoom. So feel free. I will be tagging Fiona into this video, no matter where it is you find it across any of my platforms. So I will be tagging Fiona in. Feel free to reach out to either one of us, and also visit the iictc.net website, where you can see all of our therapists listed there. Fiona, are there any closing words that you would like to add?
I would just love to say, I hope this inspires you just to do one extra thing today, one extra, that it's possible. The change is one step away. You can make that decision, and that the life is there for you to take advantage of. Enjoy it. If you're feeling like it's not where it should be, do something about it.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. I love that. One thing changes everything.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so very much, Fiona. I have loved this conversation, as I'm sure all of our listeners will too. There are so many amazing pearls there. Much love to you, honey. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you so much.